Hello, beautiful people. My name is Davi. I'm joined by Abe and Charlie, and welcome back to another Tony Tuesday.
How you doing?
For our viewers and listeners, we hope you guys are doing well. Just a quick heads up, this episode is also available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, specifically the discussion portion of the show. And if you're looking for an uncut reaction, we are also on Patreon. In the link in the description, you'll find the link to our Patreon. We want to thank all of our patrons and our subscribers here on YouTube. Thank you so much for the support. So please, if you're new here, consider subscribing, liking this video, and also hitting that notification bell. Woo! Abe and Charlie, how you doing?
Good. Doing good. Just saw Dune in IMAX. The first Dune. The second Dune is not out yet, but they're doing the...
Yeah, we're watching Dune Part 2 in like a week.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah.
It's crazy.
A little early.
Me and Davi got to watch the sandworm scene.
Oh, for the second one?
Yeah. They did a preview.
They did a preview.
Oh, shoot.
At the end of the movie, they did like, it was 10 minutes. And they just showed the whole scene. And I was like, brother.
It was cinema, y'all. It was cinema.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Right before it came on, Denis got on the screen and was talking about how important the film is and like,
And
long live cinema.
Yes.
I was like... So yeah, if you're a Dune fan,
It's going to be crazy.
it's gonna be our Super Bowl pretty soon.
Oh, yes. But before we get into this episode, Abe, can you read comments from our previous episode?
Indeed, sir. First comment comes from Poshana, and it says, "Don't disrespect the pizza parlor."
Never.
Never. Dead ass. Don't do that. Even your pinstripe, so you think you're too good for the pizza parlor? Crazy. The next one comes from Atree5688. I always interpreted the crow as a bit of a warning. Right as Chrissy is starting his blood oath and burning the saint, he and the bird almost lock eyes in a way. It seemed to say, this is your last chance to choose a different path. The important part to me is that as soon as he completes the ceremony, pledging that he'll burn in hell if he betrays the family, he looks back and sees the bird has vanished. It seemed to me that Christopher essentially gave his soul up to the mob in that moment, and that's not something he can get back. The disappearance of the bird is a sign that Christopher is damned. Damn.
Oof.
I could see that. I could definitely see that. Oh, this comment comes from the same person. I didn't even realize. 2 for 1 special, A-Tree. All right, so this is the longer one, and it's like 3 paragraphs, but I only wanted to choose one part because it's too long to read, but this was a really good insight here. Besides the crow, I found interesting how Fortunate Son, which was the title of the episode, takes on the idea of intergenerational cycles, focusing on new pairs of fathers and sons. There's, of course, Tony and AJ, but as Paulie notes in the making ceremony, Tony also serves as a role as a father to Christopher within the context of the mob. Though not figuring much in this episode, Junior plays a similar role in the show as mob father to Tony, since Johnny Boy, who also gets a focus in this episode, is deceased before the first season begins. The episode also builds Jackie Jr.'s plotline, with him seeking to follow in the footsteps of his own late father against his wishes. That's cool. Yeah, it's super. We didn't do a good job of touching on that because sometimes we're able to see the title of an episode and how it has the overarching theme and how it plays into the symbolism that we see in that episode. And I think what you described is like a perfect encapsulation of like the title Fortunate Son. So thank you for that insight.
But with that being said, Charlie, episode 4, Employee of the Month.
Let's get it. I love how they kept at this point, this is past 2001.
Yeah, I think so.
They kept the Twin Towers in there. Got yourself a gun. Got yourself a gun. Freak. Yeah. Bro, landlines. Y'all remember that? I feel like nobody has a landline anymore.
Tony, it's me.
Oh my God.
Don't hang up.
The f are you calling here for? You know you can answer this phone?
Do you really think I want to call you?
I think you're drinking and dialing. I can smell the vanilla stoli from here.
Not to me. A wicked spin. And my poor cousin still is not having her prosthetic leg.
Oh.
Give her the 20K, bro, at this point.
I miss you so much. Can't you come over here?
Isn't she married? Getting married?
Yeah, she is.
That's what she told him in the previous episode.
Didn't you see my favorite patient today?
Tomorrow.
How's that going?
Oh, wow. We haven't seen her husband in a while. Or her ex, right? Right? She's divorced.
Oh,
right?
took him back?
You start treating him, we start seeing each other again.
Oh. Yeah, so I guess they're divorced, but they have some sort of relationship.
I'm so fed up with people assuming I'm a thug because my name ends in a vowel. Undershirts, yelling. Hollywood tries to give these sociopaths the tragic grandeur of Al Pacino. Tell me a little more about this breakthrough, then. You yourself said the guy's alexithymic. You said nothing's going to get through.
Alexithymic. Never heard that word.
It really concerns me you don't see this, Jen. I mean, pink slip this guy. He's dangerous.
I asked you to write down any feelings of anxiety or memories of past anxiety attacks. Have you thought at all about that?
How do people find the time?
To get well?
My mother's dead. I haven't had a panic attack since.
It's crazy.
You've gone months without them before. The conflicts that caused them and your depression are buried deep inside you.
I'm sorry I didn't bring the list. I'll bring it next week.
We ought to think about bringing your wife into this.
In here.
Oh.
You demanded more of me, but you're not trying.
Yeah, I know. The past. But shit happens in my daily life that needs attention now. I got some genuine concerns, about my son. He shies away from anything that requires effort, and I think maybe he picks that up from me. I mean, he's in football now, right? But Carmela's just as guilty about this as I am.
Is he all right? Last thing we saw, man passed out.
I've been charmed by a sociopath. Why did I reject a good man like Richard in the first place? Marry a man 10 years my senior. Of course, Richard's gonna be protective and patriarchal. And then I reject him for being exactly that.
There's nothing wrong with wanting to be safe, Jen. It's a basic human need.
I know Richard's right. I should get Tony Soprano.
Oh, shit.
I always thought it was that other guy in the news, little Augie April.
She name dropped him.
Does Richard know who he is?
I think he saw it in my daytimer once.
Now, you've medicated Soprano properly. You've helped him gain what insight he's able to absorb. It's time to send him on to a behaviorist.
I don't think she can do it.
I think she takes it too
Personal.
Yeah, she takes it to heart, treating him and making sure he's good and stuff.
She's
His
with the
progress.
metal detector in the damn basement, bro. Jesus Christ.
Nah, Janice is crazy. She's different.
She's looking for the money, remember?
She's a scammer, bro. That's
No.
what she is.
And it's like, of course Janice would do this. It's always that.
There's no surprises.
She's probably searching for a safe.
Don't mess with the Russians, Janice. That's all I'm gonna say.
She can have her leg back when she returns Ma's record collection.
Don't with me on this, Janice. Give back the leg.
Tony, those records are yours too. It's sad that you don't care.
Girl, you want him for the money.
Yeah, as soon as she gets them back, too, she's not splitting them with Tony.
I'm making a documentary. The World War II generation and their music, exemplified by Ma.
Who the f*** are you kidding? You're gonna sell them on the internet.
I have work to do.
She walks away because she knows he's right.
You make more money working a real job.
He's cooking her.
Like the minute I'm out of here, you're not going to have contractors downstairs tearing apart the walls.
I don't think Tony really cares for any money that's hidden in that house.
Probably not.
You got a girlfriend? You know who's turned into a little mink, though? That metal soprano.
Oh, my God.
Oh, bro.
I've known her since we were kids, for Christ's sake. Speaking of the royal family, I heard you did a stick-up with Christopher Moltisanti.
I wanted to fly down to South Beach, see friends. My mom wouldn't pay.
Don't worry, I'm not gonna tell her. I know it's tough on you. I'm the guy that's dating your mom.
Dating?
Don't get fucking filthy about it.
I'm only here so I don't have to hear her bitching and crying.
They're going to spar, watch. What? They're going to spar. Oh, is he like...
He's making a stop. That's what he said.
Well, yes, but I'm saying, like, is he
My brother-in-law's out of town.
going to bring him into some shit?
No, 100%.
You're collecting on my fucking roots. You gotta pay me a use fee. They're only your roots because you say they are. You want to question a New Jersey business practice that goes back 70 years? Hey! I ought to stick a shish kebab up your ass. This young buck, he'll fuck your wife until she moans. You bring my wife into this? Huh? Put it down. Huh?
Hey, mister, come on. Hey!
Oh,
Get the fucking back! Go!
Knew it.
In the bed basket!
this is how he gets fully involved.
You ought to take an anger management course. And racial slurs. Why are you doing this to me?
See, this is the conflict with Tony, because Tony doesn't want him in this life because he knew his dad didn't want him
Yep.
in this.
That's what I'm saying. So he's going to get a taste for actually, like,
Rolf is
the
trying
violence.
to connect with him, so
Yeah.
this may be a way that he'll be able to connect with him. Is bring him in.
Let's go.
And that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big motivator.
And he wants to, yeah. I think he also wants to connect with his dad in some way, his dad who's gone. And, like, this is what his dad did. So part of the reasoning is that.
Oh my God, what's wrong with me? I'm a mess here with the moving.
All that old school hairstyle.
Oh, look who's here. The Guinea welcome wagon. They call this the great room. I don't see what's so great about it.
That's a beautiful house, bro.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were moving to Jersey.
Yeah, Ginny wanted to be near her sisters, and school's out here.
We were sitting with Carmine all night long. You never once mentioned you bought a place in Jersey.
Well, it's not Carmine's favorite subject, me living in Jersey, but it's what, half an hour, 40 minutes over the bridge?
So part of the New York family moving into Jersey.
You should have fucking told me.
Tony, I'm telling you now, this is strictly a place for me to live. I got no intention of sticking my beak in. I mean, there's our family, and then there's the Soprano family.
Oh.
I mean, he's telling Tony what he wants to hear, but let's see if he's actually...
Yeah.
Out here.
No, look at that. Tony, you see that face?
Yeah, he doesn't trust him.
Yeah.
fucking sand monkey on 17. He's holding out on us.
So you treat his brother-in-law to a ride in an ambulance.
He said a very bad word.
You take Jackie's kid or something like that.
Somebody's got to show him how the real world works. Kid's got a chip on his shoulder, 23 years old. He's still living at home. No matter how nice I am to that little bastard, he still hates me.
Don't look at me. I got a daughter that age. It's all a fucking mystery.
Amen.
Meadow's 23?
23?
No way.
Should be graduated already.
Yeah.
Got some news you're not gonna like. I'm putting a friend in over there as captain.
No. This bullshit with the Arab. So I went over the top, but I'll take care of it on a people level.
You know this isn't the first thing.
Well, then at least tell the truth, Tone. You want one of your own people over there so he can spy on the Aprile crew.
Yeah, but I shouldn't have to. You got some bad tendencies, Ralphie, and I sympathize, because I got them too. But also, you partnered up with Joe Brooklyn at the shit at the port. To me, that was a bum decision.
The bottom line speaks loudest. I'm earning my ass off for you.
It's my decision.
Jesus Christ, Tone. I eat dinner at your house.
It's his business.
That's crazy to tell him he's not going to get promoted just in his face like that. And
I think you're ready to move on to behavior modification therapy.
What's that mean? Talk to somebody else? That's because of what happened last time? Look, I'm sorry, but like you said, it's hard to think about that stuff. I asked you to get serious in here. And when it gets hard, you pawn me off on somebody else.
I'm just introducing the idea. Something for you to think about. I'm going to bring in some things for you to read about behavior modification therapy.
was she backtracking there a little bit?
Yeah, she was.
I don't like this.
I told you I would discharge him, and I will in my own good time.
Uh-oh.
Oh, dude, this is not good. And there we go.
Shut up. Don't turn around. I said shut up. I got a knife. I'll cut you, bitch.
Okay, Melfi. Okay, Melfi. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Oh, who the hell is this guy?
He's good. She's getting mugged by some random dude.
Dude, where's Tony?
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God. Fuck. Fucking A. Holy shit.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That was horrible.
Yeah, I was hoping Tony was just going to show up out of nowhere and beat the shit out of that guy.
I thought that I broke my leg, but it's just really badly sprained.
Bastard.
Did they tell you that they caught him?
God.
We apprehended somebody with the description out of Popeye's chicken, not far from the scene. Of course, the jerk is denying it, but he had our Palm Pilot. Says he found it on the street.
Palm Pilot, was that her phone or something?
No, it's like the
beeper?
a PDA.
Oh.
Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Who is he?
Jesus Rossi.
Rossi.
Lives over in Elizabeth, 28 years old. No priors.
Rossi, it's an Italian name. The girl said he was Puerto Rican, that's all.
It's okay, I'm gonna be all right.
I can't believe this shit. I'm gonna kill these motherfuckers.
Jason.
Get, Dad. You know, the whole world is a bunch of animals out there running wild. And they're fucking winning.
Jason, please, caught the man that did it. It's okay.
Yeah, I want 5 minutes with that asshole.
Jason, this isn't helping.
Can't lie, I would too.
Is this Mrs. Soprano?
Yes, it is, Dr. Melfi. How are you?
Actually, that's why I'm calling. I need to cancel Tuesday's appointment.
Oh, you'll be so disappointed. Nothing serious, I hope.
A little car accident, but I'm fine.
Oh, my God. You weren't hurt, I hope.
Well, my knee got the worst of it, but I'll be up and about in a couple of days.
You stay off of it and you take care.
Who ate the last piece of cake?
Tony.
That's me. I'm going to open the fridge.
Tell him what?
That was your therapist.
Why don't you just announce it on WFAN? Go find some dust.
Jesus Christ. Go find some dust is crazy. That's a crazy ass.
Said she was okay. She hurt her knee.
Her knee? What happened?
I don't know. She didn't say.
I hope she don't need stitches. Stitches on the knee, they never heal right. Can leave a very bad scar. Any knee injury can be very serious. You can get arthritis for the rest of your life.
You gotta stop talking now, Tony.
Listen, last time...
Oh, I knew he was gonna bring
She
this up.
mentioned that maybe you would come into my therapy, give you a perspective on the panic attacks and kind of a home life.
Sure. Not now. She's sick.
You think you could tell there?
What?
That he's like cares about her a little more than normal. He was kind of going off on a little tangent there and wouldn't stop talking.
Yeah, I think it was more about like trying to deflect from any sort of relationship with Melfi. I think he did that also by inviting her to therapy.
Right. Detective Pearsall was going to call when you were ready for us to come down for the lineup.
The thing is now, she's going to need therapy for this, probably.
Well, why? I mean, that's absurd. That's ridiculous.
Richard, what happened?
So you just let him go? Are you fucking crazy? You people haven't heard the end of this. I'm contacting my attorney.
She was moved over to juvie conveniently after this happened.
What chain of custody? They let him go?
Somebody misplaced the evidence kit for a little while or something.
Oh, Oh, this reeks of...
Did they just let him out until the trial? Because I can't identify him.
It's a legal thing. I think they just have to let him skip.
You think the...
He's got to have mob ties. There's no way.
Think this is coming from the April side?
I don't know.
I don't understand what's going on. I don't know what you people did, but I can identify him. I don't know what to say. I'm stunned. They had to let him go because they failed up the chain of custody.
Yeah, this is it seems too convenient.
What does that even mean?
They mess with the chain of custody. There's like a specific way that they have to handle evidence, and if it's not handled the proper way, it can get completely thrown out in court.
You blame me for what happened, don't you?
Well, how many times did I tell you to call the security guard when you left work late?
It wasn't late. If I hadn't have been on the phone with you, maybe I would have seen that guy in the stairwell. You and your fucking heart on about my patient.
So it's my fault now.
You should have seen your face when you heard that fucking shitbag there to me had an Italian name.
You were the one who told the police he was a Puerto Rican.
What difference does it make? Are you so ashamed of your background that any misdeed by an Italian somehow damages your self-esteem?
My gosh.
Jenny Sacramone. What she needs is her own zip code.
I like a woman you can grab onto something.
You grab onto Jenny Sacramone, your fucking hands will disappear. She's so fat, her blood type is ragu.
She's so fat she goes camping. The bears have to hide their food.
Oh my God.
Two guys can fuck her at the same time and still never meet.
Oh, Johnny!
That's crazy.
Who?
No shit.
Is that all you deadbeats do over here is talk about coups? I mean it. You don't keep up with current events. It's all over 10-10 wins. It's right there in front of you, you fucking illiterates. Turn it up.
State Assemblyman Ronald Zellman held a press conference to announce the release of the first $25 million in state and federal matching funds.
25 fucking million, Madonna mia.
By the year 2003, this long-neglected stretch of riverfront will be alive with condominiums, film studios, and public parks, a self-perpetuating revenue base. The $100 million Newark Museum of Science and Trucking will serve to make this esplanade the destination attraction of the tri-state area and beyond.
He's worth every cent of his cut. Fucking drywall contracts alone.
Oh.
Beautiful. Thank you very much.
So is this another person that collect taxes from or whatever?
No, it's someone they cut in to do something so that they can make money is what it sounds like to me. Like they bought him. He's a government official.
I see.
I'm sorry.
I feel like once Tony finds out about this, he's going to send one of his guys to like constantly be on watch.
I just want to go find that bastard and kill him with these hands, Jen. But I can't. They'd put me in jail. That's how messed up things are.
Oh, you think he'll try to find
Tony? He'll seek Tony
Think he'll try to find Tony?
and ask for help.
Yeah.
T, I know why I'm here, and I apologize. I won't let it happen again.
You got to be brave to stand next to that man holding an axe after you did something wrong. I'm not going to lie.
I specifically said, don't let the kid get involved in this thing.
no.
Now I gotta hear about some joint on campus, and Jackie's a part of it.
He only drove. I said I was sorry.
Don't want him mixed up in this shit. Look, I promised his old man.
What? You promised him what?
I don't know. I was his best friend. Don't bust my balls.
Oh, Lord pants. Whose moniker is that?
I'm not sure it is a moniker.
He's already going back to work, bro. That's crazy. I mean, sometimes that's how people cope.
I couldn't do it. I'd be like,
It's really hard, man.
I think I'd
really,
be
really
away
hard.
for like a month at least. With a cane and everything.
Come on in.
Jesus. What's your other guy look like?
I wonder if she's going to tell him.
Wonder if he'll recognize something.
Mm-hmm.
He's a pretty good bullshit reader.
The title leaves something to be desired.
It's okay. It's just your,
Sorry.
She's very jumpy.
Maybe you came back to work too soon.
It's better for me to be busy. I'm okay. Really.
Yeah, he's starting to know already that something is off.
Yeah, the neck is
Yeah,
where it, like I would start to get fishy. You know what I mean?
Might not get all that from a car accident.
Right.
See, that's what's wrong with the world right there. An innocent person is driving along, minding their own business, and some fucking asshole comes out and smashes into him.
You can't control everything that happens.
But you can get pissed off.
And then what?
I love what he's doing here. He's doing the therapy now. Watch.
And how do you get people to do what you want?
I don't think so.
I thought that's where it was going to lead.
No.
Because he started the conversation like, it sounded like he was going to unravel what was happening.
I heard about Ralph Cifaretto.
You heard about what? Who?
I'm just saying, Ralph. That's probably a smart move. I mean, the more I get to know him, he's kind of a cool guy, but...
It's none of your fucking concern.
I knew he was not going to like that.
Then I gotta hear from Krista shit I'm hearing about you. I promised you that. Don't make this hard on me, Jackie. I already got one son that busts my balls.
Oh.
Hey, Jackie. What are you doing here?
I'm waiting for you.
What, I don't get a hello?
I need $200 for November to put in my student account. I'm looking forward to total independence, believe me. African Americans go to Columbia, Dad.
Oh my God, bro.
Blanket on my couch watching television with his shoes off with you.
Jackie's like, the fuck is I walking to you, bro?
Don't worry, Tone. I won't say anything about the mole now.
You just remember what we talked about.
I'll have a chicken avocado wrapped.
I thought that was the guy because the red hat.
But they're all wearing hats,
They're all
though.
wearing a red hat, yeah.
So that can probably
this is gonna trigger her.
Yeah.
Song choice.
Oh.
Employee of the month? For where?
For that place. That's why Employee of the Month.
No, I know, but I'm wondering what place that is.
Some random shop.
Because remember they said they found him in a Popeyes or something? So does he work there? What the hell? This is not a character arc I was expecting.
Bro, if she can't get the volume, she's going to record her own records. That's what she's doing.
He's drinking, what is that, vodka?
Yeah.
And freaking playing electric guitar.
She's a creator.
Oh. What the f?
Oh,
what
this
the?
got to be to get the leg, no?
You let go of me! What the f? Go of me!
We don't want continuation.
Yeah,
you
that's
give
what I
us leg and we go.
What leg?
Don't push me to edge. Repent on yourself.
What the f? Do you know who I am? Do you know who my brother is?
What did you say?
Motherfucker! Oh!
But Tony warned her.
Those records are all I had to remember my mother by. What could it possibly mean to her?
She hid it in a school locker?
Well, now Tony's going to have to start beef with the Russians, too.
Yeah, and that's something he didn't want to do. Because at the beginning, he's like, do not mess with the Russians.
This is two women in Tony's life that are getting hurt in some type of way.
Yeah, and I have a thing about that. It's like one deserved it and one didn't. I feel like that's almost like a metaphor of life in general. Sometimes the people that get hurt aren't always the ones that like deserve it.
So why does this say Acme Cola? Because I get the Coke thing because she went to the restaurant and got the soda and then dropped it. But I think it said Coca-Cola on it.
What does the macaroni mean?
I have no idea. You can tell too by just the way she wakes up from it. It was like
satisfying.
Yes. So usually people wake up from nightmares like jolting.
Yeah.
Awake. It's like a revenge dream.
I felt such a sense of relief. I felt safe for the first time since it happened.
The vending machine?
My guilt for putting myself in harm's way.
I don't understand how that represents guilt.
What do you mean? The vending machine?
Yeah.
It was like she wanted something so badly, or like she wanted the thing so badly, she put herself in harm's way.
Oh, because she kept reaching.
Yeah, she kept reaching for it, yeah.
Oh my God. The dog.
What?
A Rottweiler, Elliot. Big head, massive shoulders, direct descendant of the dog used by the Roman armies to guard their camps.
It's Tony.
Tony's the guard dog that she has.
Who could I sick on that son of a bitch?
That's what I'm saying. If Tony knew, I feel like he would.
Oh yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah, he would
be inclined to do something about it.
That's the thing. She wouldn't even have to ask him. Like if he just knew, I think he would do something.
Richard's got his attorney looking into this at $300 an hour. But meanwhile, that employee of the month cocksucker is back on the street. And who's gonna stop him? You?
The scenario, like, for whatever reason, reminds me. What's that movie that we watched? The like medieval one where they like duel at the end.
Oh shoot, it's directed by Ben Affleck.
The Last Duel.
The Last Duel. Yeah.
The
Not directed. It's
conflict,
directed by Ridley Scott.
Ridley Scott. Yeah.
Sorry.
It has been Affleck.
I think he wrote the script.
Janice,
I can't drive.
Yeah, breaking 3 ribs that's crazy.
what did I tell you?
So when she fell on top of the guitar, broke her ribs.
I was supposed to be married at this point in my life.
She has such a victim complex.
The man I love died.
You killed him, Janice. You shot him.
This is all I fucking need. Thanks, Janice.
What?
What do you mean, what? They slapped my sister around. I'm gonna have to get payback. It's always something when you, isn't it? Every time I hear your voice on that phone, I know it's gonna cost me.
When did I get like this?
You really wanna know?
Forever.
When Richie died.
Oh, it's crazy. Like I swear, her victim mentality is so insane. It's so insane.
See how she said the.
There's only one trajectory for me.
Really?
She said she was functioning at a really high level. Is she like starting to claim that she has like some sort of mental disability or something?
Potentially, or just like depression.
Is that going to be her next like scamish kind of thing?
She definitely has something mentally that's not right.
I
give myself up utterly and totally to God.
Yeah, but you see, I feel like, I don't know if she's actually like kind of with her. I can't tell.
I think she's truly delusional. Like, she truly believes some of this stuff sometimes.
'Cause remember, she was like super hippie and stuff when she first showed up.
She goes through these different phases of her
Right.
life where she like needs to cling on to something to make sense of things. Bro, they're just eating each other.
What we do in life echoes in eternity.
Fucking obsessed with Gladiator.
Man, it's a great fucking film. Strength and honor.
Scotch and soda. As long as you're on the way to the bar.
Your fucking landscape alone's got to be 100, 150 G's to keep up this lawn. Property taxes, and you got to pay those.
The money to fix the goddamn air traffic controllers. Fighting terrorism. That's what we should do.
Is that a comment towards 9/11 or something?
What?
They're like, why don't they use the taxes to fix the damn air traffic controllers? And then they said something about fighting terrorism and whatever.
Oh, maybe. Could be.
I don't know. Not the air traffic controllers' fault.
Been making my list. Even put a little notebook.
Hey, see, the thing here is like, she's going to be torn between basically like hurting his progression in therapy for her gain to get like justice.
Yep.
The last couple of times I've been getting the distinct feeling that you're giving me the boot.
And she doesn't want him to leave. She feels safe with him.
Yep.
What's the matter? Hey, come on. What'd I do?
It's crazy the progression because like she went from feeling afraid and unsafe having him as a patient to now she's like, I need you.
Yeah, well, I think that's like the complexity of like the human psyche, as her doctor talked about, like the murderous part that she doesn't ever access.
Right.
She can see it through him, and when there's a need for it.
It's just my knee. It's okay, go on.
What? I mean, you want to say something?
I kind of want her to tell him.
No.
I was really quiet this episode because just the event that went down.
Yeah,
It was a lot. It was very
awful.
heavy.
Yeah.
That was just hard to watch.
We just watched, I think, one of the heaviest episodes we've seen so far.
Yeah.
Of the whole series.
Of the whole series, I'd say. A issue that is still prevalent and it's been for centuries. And I'm just wondering, like, when I first watched that scene, the impact of a viewer seeing that in the early 2090s, and seeing that, be so in your face,
Yeah.
I just wonder how the reaction was when that episode came out. I think it was a tough watch for everyone. But
Yeah, I will say I don't think.
I don't think the time matters.
I'll say this.
Oh, no.
I'll say this.
It'll
I
be the same.
actually think that in more recent films, directors and in filmmaking in general have shied away from doing that in terms of showing like that full sort of attack. They might more allude to it because they know potentially there's visceral reactions to showing that kind of thing. So I think there's been kind of a change in sometimes in cinema of how much of that stuff is shown. Also depends on the director, the filmmakers, all that stuff. But yeah, it's a really heavy moment. I'm sure people potentially have critiques about potentially this episode and how it kind of displays it. Although I don't think it's like, obviously it's not glamorizing it or saying it's okay, but that sort of event is always like a really touchy subject and a really tough thing to watch. So yeah, I do wonder whether or not people at the time were more desensitized to it, or in comparison to today or something like that. I don't know. That's the question I have.
For sure. But we saw two parallels, I think, in this episode where we have Dr. Melfi, who was a victim of a crime, and then we also saw Janice, who also was a victim of a crime. And you guys said that, Dr.
Both assaulted.
Both assaulted, yeah. Both were assaulted, but in one way, you would look at it and say, oh, Janice may have deserved it because obviously no one should get assaulted. That's not right. But in a way that because she had stole someone's property, so maybe it was deserving. Whereas
she got herself in that situation.
Yeah, whereas Dr. Melfi didn't get herself in that situation.
No,
it just happened.
Totally random.
Totally random. So I just want to know what is the connection with that and what you guys see between Janice and Dr. Melfi in this episode.
I think there's like a bit like a overarching like psychological theme here that like just explores humans and society in general. Like on one aspect, you have Melfi, who is a rather like innocent character. She's pretty honest with herself, with therapy. She's generally a good person, tries to do good things. And then like the complete opposite is true of Janice. And they both get assaulted. I would 1000% say that Melfi's was worse, obviously because there's the sexual assault aspect of it. And she was literally just trying to get to her car, like just trying to go home after a long day of work or whatever. And I think that this was like an example of showing how two people of completely different circumstances, different motivations, different ideals, morals, all that stuff can end up in the same sort of situation. So it's hard to like compare yourself and be like, I don't deserve this, whatever. Because sometimes the acts that happen in the world are random. Bad shit happens to good people. And I think that was one of the examples that we saw in here. Yeah. And then also you'll have, I also think the really interesting thing is the way that they each describe the events that are happening. Janice is like such like a victim mentality. Melfi at one point was even saying it was her fault for putting herself in harm's way, which she didn't do anything to like put herself in harm's way. She was just going to her car.
Yeah.
But this is the thing, like you start rationalizing and trying to be like, what could I have done different in these sorts of situations? While Janice is like, man, I've hit rock bottom. My husband died. Now I'm here. Like clearly like victimizing herself. So I just think it's to show like two very different types of people, and like horrible things can happen to either. And sometimes the world's just cruel.
Yeah. And then we also saw the dream sequence with Melfi. I think that was a big highlight of this episode. And I'm wondering, we know that I think the Rottweiler was Tony. And I think it represented Tony as being a protector.
Yeah, she flat out said it.
Yeah, she flat out said it. Yeah, being a protector, said it. But she never brought up the macaroni.
Yeah.
And I know maybe the macaroni means nothing, but I just want to know, because that really stood out to me, because we had one that was accepted by the machine and one that wasn't. So I just want to know if is there some connection there?
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't have a good idea. If I said anything, I honestly would just probably be making shit up. But like, is there a cultural component to it? I don't know.
The only thing I can think of, sorry to interrupt, is the conversation she had with her husband about the Italian thing.
Yes, that's the part that I'm wondering about.
And yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's something in reference to that.
Yeah.
That's all I can think of, because it was very unique.
Yeah.
It was different.
Yeah, I wonder if there is some sort of cultural component to like tying the Italian piece to all of that. And
yeah,
you know, we saw her kind of have this strange conversation with her husband, or was like a weird reaction where when he found out that the guy was Italian, he was like taken aback, almost like, wow, it's one of us, like how could that be? And he's like challenging the fact that, and earlier in the episode he was challenging the fact that Italians are thugs and always portrayed as such, and like we get a bad rap for no reason. And
did that early in the series as well. There was a dinner, like a family dinner.
It's a constant theme, and it's very clear because you see Italian Americans again, like Italian Americans who are good and Italian Americans who are bad. So like again, that's Janice and Melfi. That's another example of it.
Right.
And I think that again, like sometimes people are just bad. It's not necessarily like a cultural thing or a stereotype doesn't necessarily
happens everywhere in the world.
Exactly. And that was part of what I saw from that. But if anyone else has any specific things on the macaroni and why she's paying with the macaroni, and also why the one piece that I found interesting is like she's really struggling for the thing, and the macaroni comes back, like in the coin return slot.
Like it rejected her,
or something.
Purchase.
Yeah, I don't know. That's the.
Or it was no good.
Yeah, that was the thing that I thought was interesting, but I can't really put a finger on why.
And then we also saw where at the beginning of this episode, she told Tony that it would be good for him to go to a behaviorist.
Yep.
And then she steps back after what happened, the events that took place, and it kind of felt like she maybe realized that Tony is kind of a protector for her, even though she's not involved in that life. She knows that she can still call to him in danger, maybe. I don't know. Maybe she has that sense of protection when they are in therapy. because we know what the events that went down in season 1 where she had to do therapy from a hotel room.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering,
because of Tony though.
Because of Tony.
No, so this is the like cognitive dissonance, or like the juxtaposition that I think is really interesting, is that Tony has in the past put her in harm's way. Do you know what I mean? Like through just his associations, the way that he is with different things, like having to have her lay low, because like he's being sought after by law enforcement and so on and so on. So like that's an example of him putting her in harm's way, and just her speaking to him honestly in general puts her in association with him in harm's way. Now, when something unrelated to Tony happens to her, and like her therapist was saying, like she has this part of her brain now that's being activated, like the murderous rage, like the desire for vengeance or revenge comes out. Who is the one person that she knows is capable of it? Because there's multiple times in this episode where basically like her son comes like, I want 5 minutes with that guy. Richard is like, if I could just get my hands on him. She has no reaction. But when she thinks about Tony, it's like he's capable.
Yeah.
This is a man who could actually do this, and I would get some vindication from it. So I think it's almost like she's having another example of really having to not cross the line, because she also knows, I think Tony could be a protector in a way, but I also think it's like she would be using Tony in this sense. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For vengeance, revenge, some sort of sense of justice, vindication. When in the past she has, not seen him in the best light. You know what I mean? So I think to say now all of a sudden she's like, Tony's my protector, I think is not necessarily the exact point, but more that she's a complex human being and she understands how the ugliness in the world can sometimes come out.
Yeah.
And maybe she's starting to make more sense of that side of the world.
Okay.
Yes.
The only problem with Melfi is she's too good of a person.
Yeah. Yeah, she has too many morals.
You saw in the end there, like, she thought about it for a second, and then Tony asked her, do you want to say something? And she says no. So she's deciding basically to not, ask him for that favor, essentially.
And I'm telling you, it's not even about asking, because the second that she said that she was attacked, she was sexually assaulted, he would do something. I'm telling you.
No, of course.
He would 100% do something.
Of course. But the thing is, I think she realizes, like, it's going to affect the progress they've made in therapy.
Yeah.
It's going to affect the fact that she, she does have to have him move on to like a behaviorist and whatnot. Like, it's going to be good for his progress.
Mm-hmm.
But like, she wants to keep him by her side, make sure that she's protected. And yeah, it's tough. She's too caring of a doctor to let her patient, not make progress for her to get revenge on someone. So
yeah, but like, yes, and you think she's hindering the growth because she doesn't want to take it to the behaviorist?
If she makes the decision, she makes the decision to ask Tony for help with like getting back at the attacker. She is hindering his progress with her in therapy.
But she's also hindering the progress because she's not letting him go to a behavioral therapist.
Exactly.
Like she had already
she's
said.
hindering his entire progress of the whole mental health thing.
Exactly. So that's where we would, again, like, Melfi is one of the good, like, if you put it on a spectrum of good versus bad, she's towards the good spectrum, of course. But this is another place where her morality can be questioned.
Yeah, but from what we saw in the end, her decision was, I'm not asking you for this favor. We're going to just continue your therapy. But it could continue. She could change her mind.
No, but that's not the point that I'm harping on. I'm talking about her really not wanting him to go to a new behavioral therapist, even though she knows that that's what he now needs.
Oh, yeah. She might still, like, hold back on that part, right? She might not ask him, like, hey, can you go, like, kill this guy for me or whatever. But I do think she's not going to have him move on to a behavioral.
And that to me
can
is
hinder.
wrong.
Yeah, it is part. Yeah, it is hindering a little bit.
Exactly. So this is where her morality comes into question, because she's like, it's almost a need of protection. It's not necessarily like, she feels safe around Tony because of the things that he could potentially do to somebody if they were to harm her.
Right.
But
or just his presence being around.
Exactly. But she won't outwardly say it, but she's like towing the line. You know what I mean? This is where the gray area is.
Yeah. It's in the dream. You know, the guard dog. The guard dog stays with you all the time. It's not going to go anywhere. So if that's how she's picturing him, she's not going to let him go.
Yeah, and in the dream, it's not like she calls the guard dog. It's the guard dog's already there.
Yeah.
So I think in her mind, that's where the line is. If he had seen something and he knew on his own and he took care of it, she would feel relief, and I don't think she'd question it. But she would never call on him to do that. Exactly. And I think that's also what the dream was kind of showing.
Yes, that is very true. I think what we also saw when the assault took place, you know, she reported it and they were doing their investigation, and we saw that they couldn't continue with the investigation because of
chain of custody was messed up.
The process was messed up. Is there some connection to how like the process can always be, you know, you can forget about the process and just look to the mob and be like, hey, the mob can just figure this out on its own? Do you feel like there's a connection between that and the mob?
What do you mean?
In a sense of like, you know, if you just had told the mob, they could get it done quickly versus, you know, going to the police.
Or like finding out who did it? Oh, yeah. No, 100%.
So if there's like a commentary on that.
They work more efficiently than the justice system.
Yeah, and that's where, that's a really good point, because I think that there is, at first I was like, does this person have mob ties? Like, how does this happen? Because, I mean, I know that it happens, right? I know that it happens without, you know, nefarious intent and people pulling strings in the background. I know that happens. I just thought it was very convenient in this episode because that stuff, like, that's the stuff the mob will try to do all the time. If someone gets incriminated or something, they want chain of custody messed up. They want a witness to disappear. Like, they try to do everything to throw the case off. So that's why I thought that. However, I think David's point is actually a better one in the sense of it exemplifies how our justice system is flawed and how you could potentially get justice in a different way if you break like social rules, social contracts, and the way that society normally functions.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, this is a problem not just here. I've seen this happen in another country. This, like, a very similar situation. And like that country's laws, it's like, because it was reported after a certain amount of time, they could not prosecute the person or like act
the
upon
statute of limitations.
You know the person did it.
Exactly.
You have all the evidence.
But it was 72 hours.
Oh, that's crazy.
Is the cutoff.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Insanity.
It's horrible.
She in this episode, she like reports it right away.
Yeah.
Everything. She's like, I can ID the person, and they still fumbled it.
Yeah. And the thing is, a lot of times, even in like sexual assault cases that get reported, like there's I don't know the exact statistic, but there's a very few number of them that get solved and the person gets caught and like everything goes right. And that's why a lot of them go unreported for that exact reason. And it's a shame, man. It's really messed up.
Definitely is. And then we also saw with Ralph, he got basically, Tony said he's not going to get promoted. But also there was a slight conversation at the end at the New York guy. I'm forgetting his name.
John or Johnny or something.
His name?
Something like that.
Something like that.
The New York guy. He moves to New Jersey.
Yeah.
And now maybe we're gonna see a new power dynamic at play where we're gonna see some leveling of power or
some
you know
interfighting
some
between the
some
two
interference. I just want to know, what do you guys, is this introducing something new that we're seeing? What do you think from that conversation that he was having with Ralph, and they were looking at Tony, looking back and forth, and Tony's guys were with him, and Ralph was next to him.
It's going to be kind of a competition of who's boss, is my view of it, because they had Tony came in earlier in the episode with like a little housewarming gift type of thing, and they had a conversation where there was some comment the guy made about like, you know, we got our family and you're the Soprano family. Like, we're separate.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't want to dip my beak in. Like, I'm not going to take any of your earn from your territory. Basically.
So it's, you know what it's very similar to how we started off with Junior and him running his crew and Tony running his crew behind his back. It's that same, but the opposite now. That guy probably is going to have a crew running behind his back, behind Tony's back. So
yeah, I don't see. This is the part where I don't know how this would happen, because it's very clear to me that like they've divided the territories. A family takes New York, a family takes New Jersey, and that's how it is, and they work in peace. Now I feel like if that happens, it would be like very in your face, like they're doing stuff behind the scenes and they're hurting on your territory. It'd be pretty easy for them to know. However, I think one of the dynamics that I'm curious about is like if it's more of like an influence and a power thing where the guy's pulling strings behind closed doors, behind the scenes to say, oh, Tony, maybe you should do this, or like this is how maybe things should run. Maybe throw Ralphie a bone. He's a loyal guy, like this kind of thing. And I think that's potentially more where this is heading of, Tony not feeling like the boss of his own destiny and his own people because strings are being pulled from a different family in his territory. That's kind of where I see it going. And I know Ralphie is very intentionally doing this because he's like, well, the guy that I know who I work for that has the most power is not on my side right now. So how can I influence and get power in the other side?
Yeah. So it's all about influencing sides.
Oh yeah. There's a definite politics to the mob.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's showing there.
Ego and greed is going to play a big factor into it, though, because there's no way that they're going to peacefully be doing their own things. Like, eventually, they're going to butt heads, just like Junior and Tony were.
Yeah.
One person wants this route. Oh, we want the same route. Blah blah blah. Also, maybe it's not really anything, but I kind of perceive it as being part of it as well. Is the conversation that Polly and Silvio were having? They were looking at the land and everything. They're like, oh, how much you got the upkeep for this? Just the landscaper alone got to be 150 grand.
Mm-hmm.
So that guy's got to make money, bro.
Yeah.
No,
He's got to bring in money. He's got to make, he's got to get paid. So he's definitely going to be operating and getting, whatever high paying jobs possible. And it could interfere with Tony's stuff. So that's why.
I mean, from what we know, he's already operating in New York and has his own slice of the pie there. Right now, it's a living situation sort of thing. That's how he's presenting it. The one piece that I keep thinking about now, and I just remembered, is when they were at the Bing and they brought up the news.
That's the next thing I was going to bring up. Yeah.
The news story about this new development that's happening by the Bay, whatever. All of that, I'm like,
gonna butt heads.
That, and I'm like, it's very convenient that he showed up at this time when this is like finally happening. It seems like there's a politician that's in the pocket of the Sopranos. They've been making headway there, and this guy shows up. All of a sudden, it feels like maybe he wants a slice of the pie. That's what I think. And I guess maybe the argument there would be like, well, this isn't part of your current territory. Like, this is something new. This is something that they're developing. Yeah. So we should get some of that too. And maybe, maybe there's already an agreement for them to split between New York and New Jersey, the profits. I don't know, but that's the part that I thought was very telling, like a little foreshadowing of like what they could be fighting over.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Showcasing more of the political side and how it all works and maneuvers.
Could be totally off base, but I don't know.
It makes sense. We've seen it before with the what was it, the thing with the strikes that was happening, and the construction company. Strikes, yeah, it's just gonna repeat itself, I feel like. But yeah,
this episode also gave us a reminder that hey, Tony's house still has microphones. Like we're still monitoring him, and he had that conversation with Christopher talking about Jackie Jr.
Yeah, they were very vague though.
Yeah.
Yes,
they didn't bring up any names and stuff, so kept the agents guessing still. But they got to be careful. Someone's got to notice the lamp moved, bro. Come on, somebody.
What I need to know is, and maybe we need to look up wiretap laws. But I remember they were tuning in for a certain amount of time. I think it was like 40 seconds or 20 seconds or something, and then they have to stop listening for like 20 seconds or something until they can start listening again. And it seemed like in that scene they went past the time limit, but I don't know if the law is like once you hear something potentially incriminating, you can keep listening or whatever. If somebody knows, let us know. But like there are certain wiretap laws that they shouldn't be, because I think there was a past episode that Tony or somebody said like, they listen way too long on those phone calls. You can hear the clicks, like blah blah blah, all that stuff. So I think there's a aspect of that there. I wonder if they're doing everything by the book or not.
Yeah, that's true, man.
The police seem pretty competent to a certain extent. I don't know. Whenever I see those moments with the investigators and stuff, I just keep remembering Barry, and I'm like kind of wish there was like a little bit of incompetence here and just them being idiots and stuff. But
yeah, the Barry world, everything you can get away with everything because the cops are literally so shit. Like,
no, they're literally NPCs, bro.
Literally, yeah.
They're GTA cops
Straight up playing on easy mode. Like it's crazy.
Oh my god!
At least the GTA cops, when it gets bad enough, then you're pretty much
they'll
done,
get you.
You know what I mean? Like in Barry, it's literally like, bro, you can run rampant and like murder 1 million people, and they'd be like,
I
"There's
miss
random
Barry.
disappearance." I know
Barry was
Wish
great.
they continued.
With the Jackie Jr. narrative, we're seeing it develop more and more with each episode. And what we saw in this episode was Ralph kind of introducing him to his side and how he deals with the mob, kind of showing like, yo, this is what a man is like. So I'm just wondering, there's going to be, I think, a butting heads between, I mean, we're already seeing it with Tony and Ralph, where Tony's like, yo, don't bring this kid in.
Yeah.
I think it's going to happen. I think Jackie Jr. will end up coming in. I think that's my prediction, but just wondering how you guys are interpreting this dynamic right now.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think one thing that we know is Jackie's a smart kid. He's not stupid. He's been brought in by Ralphie, but he knows that to be approved in this game and to actually be doing stuff like correctly and legitimized in the mob, you have to go through Tony. Like nothing happens without Tony's approval. So I think one of the things that he did was coming up to Tony in his house and being like, you know, I see what you're doing, Ralphie. Like he's not the guy for this or whatever, and he's trying to like get in on it. And Tony is like really trying to keep him at arm's length, and being like, bro, you're affiliated, but like you can't be in this. Like I basically promised your dad.
Yeah.
There was another dynamic there too about him and Meadow.
Yeah, I was just gonna,
in the sense of like Tony's at an impasse because, you know, clearly he wasn't happy with who Meadow was with before. And now there's a guy who, you know, is Italian. They know the family, blah, blah. Like it almost checks all the boxes. However, there's one important box that I think Tony still has to understand, and is he part of the mob or not?
Right.
Because he clearly doesn't want that life for his kids. He clearly doesn't want that life for his daughter. So I think that's one piece where maybe if they do like each other, he'll let them date, but only if Jackie's not involved.
Yeah, I mean, he was heading towards the right track, right? Going to college.
Yeah.
He was checking. I feel like he was checking all the boxes for Tony, in the sense of, oh, this could potentially be a good candidate for Meadow. But now he's raising question marks.
Yeah,
and I wonder if they'll develop that narrative as well, where Meadow and Jackie will get together, because I think they're already starting. They're starting to like throwing some little hints.
Yeah. They're like kind of into each other. You can tell a little bit
for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Part of me almost feels like Tony might even just accept it, just because he really doesn't like the other kid.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's where I think the dilemma is gonna be crazy. Is basically like, do I let her date a black kid or a mobster?
Mobster. Like
who went to Columbia, has a good education background. Yeah. Nah.
Or Rutgers, actually, right? He went to Rutgers.
Yeah, Rutgers.
Also, Noah, I'm sorry,
be a
bro.
doctor.
Yeah, that man looks like a quarter black. Like Tony can't accept that. Like that's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Like let's be so for real. That's insane. In his mind, he's trying to do mental gymnastics to justify. Man, if she dates a mobster, it's probably better than that. Like craziness. Crazy.
Oh, y'all. With that being said, y'all, thank you so much for watching and listening to this reaction discussion. We love you guys. Stay beautiful and see you soon for more Tony Tuesday. Peace, y'all.
See ya.